Hello, and welcome to another episode of my Stellaris Let's Play. This is Northstar. Hope you folks are well. Bit of a headache today. Might have the music a little lower than usual. Noise sensitivity. Somebody upstairs where I am was playing Jaws quite loudly, which is making my headache worse earlier. It's up a tiny bit after they stopped. Give me 1 second. Sorry. I was checking a door shut. Somebody was driving by this where I'm staying so loud that in the basement with a bunch of soil in between, I could hear some prick driving by with their radio way too loud, their engine revved up. I hate when people do that. It's like they have no consideration for others, might have issues with the noise. Noise sensitivity is a bitch. Uh, Honestly, it's antisocial behavior. So I was thinking a little bit about agendas and such. Probably next up will come civil exclusion, because 15% resources from jobs. I'm not even sure deviancy is probably bug. It should be plus 10 crime from this, but that's substantial. In many ways, since not everything is in uni better than evolving society. And then I'll have to expand the Triscat as the interesting. Yeah, civil exclusion, expand the council. Those are things to consider. But yeah, I was listening to Jupiter Missiles, the song by Blowback, very quietly. Very quietly. It's because of my headache a second ago. I don't think people know the background of that song. People saying, oh, I heard it in Boston Harvard radio and such in the comments section. The song was directly inspired. It was Blowback, which is a political podcast series, and it was inspired by the unprovoked American placement of medium-range nuclear ballistic missiles in Turkey, which led directly to the Cuban Missile Crisis. The U.S., to gain an edge in the Cold War, just completely unprovoked placed these missiles there, and that led to the Soviets seeking to place medium-range missiles at a similar, actually a greater distance from D.C. in Cuba, because Cuba is actually is quite a bit further from Washington D.C. Of course, it's closer to like Florida and the South, but no one's gonna focus on nuking those areas when D.C. and New York City and Chicago are prime targets, and they're actually further away from Cuba. But it was to balance things, because if one side pulled far ahead in the nuclear arms race, the concern was that they might engage in a preemptive nuclear strike to end the Cold War. Which was a very realistic Soviet fear. There were some organizations in the United States that were seriously talking about, wouldn't be so bad if there was a thermonuclear war between the U.S. and Soviets, putting up posters saying stuff like, not everyone will die if there's nuclear war, and stuff, graphics showing the kill zone of thermonuclear weapons at the time and such. It's ridiculous, but this existed because fanatic anti-communism, which existed purely because rich, privileged assholes want to remain rich and privileged. Obviously, billionaires fund a lot of stuff, but people who think they're benefiting from capitalism, even if they're not, sometimes by acting as compradors and betraying other working class people in exchange for a little bit of privilege. Sometimes because they just don't understand that socialism benefits like 90% of the population. So unless you're in that top 10%, you're definitely better off. And people have an unrealistic idea of their own status just because they don't want to accept that, they're only at the 80th percentile, not the 90th. And that top 10% is given greater privilege and wealth in exchange for oppressing the rest of the population. That's how hierarchy works. It's not just one tiny group at the top and everyone below. There's a pyramid structure. and the middle tiers of the pyramid are necessary to maintain it. Which you can very much see with authoritarian ethos in this game. I'll probably eventually be switching to Megacore Egalitarian and Workers Cooperative, which has gotten some minor buffs with the trade policy reworks and civilians and I don't know, roleplay perspective, it's cool. Now, is this empire then is my successor empire? I mean, I'll have to probably sweat out a pacifist eventually. I'd like to do agrarian idle for a while first. There's a unique tech you can get, which adds housing to farming districts, which I always have some of. I may eventually swap out a spiritualist. It has real uses. The temple, but you can't use full AR rights. So if I ever wanted to do AI ascensions, there could be an argument for going out of spiritualist. But authoritarian is definitely going to go. Pacifist may go at some point. Spiritualist, least likely, but yeah, maybe that too. Sooner or later. Anyways, so I've got stuff like the Eldorians and Zilkor Swarm. I'm pretty sure this gives scaled society research. The thing is, scaled research means the more I bring in a month, the more I get in stored research data. So building an archives and then a biology lab will really help. I don't remember what this gives. It might be engineering. Xenobiological lab. Adds to the base output of biologists and adds biologist jobs. Eventually, when I have civilians here, I'll probably do an Ottoman monument here. I may just keep the archives because, well, some temples will help. Having a temple help with spiritualist ethos attraction, which still for quite a while be a ruling faction, and priests are like better bureaucrats. I don't know. I could do a society research focused district, but then I would need to do a monument here instead. So while I still need the luxury housing, that is synth on the other hand. Probably gonna want to do civilian industry soon. I need civilian. I need consumer goods output so I can actually get some more Genesis arcs built. Let's see. It's probably eventually be a medical center, but I also need a monument. No, not necessarily a monument. Right away, we're missing. Yeah, probably be a medical center eventually. Could be an argument for a xenobiological lab instead. Since this be civilian industry focused, so I can't do research buildings there. I'm trying to go hard on society research, especially with all the these. There'll be a lot of society research, so it's worth it in the short run. Yeah, I'm not sure medical center is worth it. Cost effective. I built one here where I had very high population growth early, and I'm not even sure this is worth it. And I already had archives here. That's the thing. Yeah, maybe I'll just do a xenobiological lab, but for now, agriculture focus. That'd be nice. Add slightly to farming jobs available. Sorry, there's a stupid fridge behind me making noise. Give me a sec to think. Sorry, probably I should. I know it's a little jarring when screen jumps around. I was looking around. Yeah. Once this food processing facility is done, I'll be emphasizing farming jobs instead of technician jobs as a prime, and but then I'll probably enough energy starting the tile blocker clearing. In fact, I might do that for agriculture focus here. It's me a little bit till food processing facility is worthwhile. But, this is something I need to get done eventually, and it doesn't add any upkeep. Yep. Work on clearing that tile blocker. Try to get enough food together for nutritional plenitude. That'll allow me to work so fewer enforcers, among other things, which would be nice. Because happier population, less crime, I guess. Good early childhood nutrition. It's be like having a WIC program. Among other things is what I imagine nutritional plenitude equates to like food stamps and a WIC program, stuff like that, whereas agricultural subsidies is like the farming subsidies in the US. This is more about consumption than production of food. If the US was in this game, it would be running both ag subsidies and nutritional plenitude, but with stratified economy as well, so, and it'd be running out of free housing because we won't build enough housing. Probably specialization when folk change to an urban one. I don't know. Anyways, I'm getting beyond the point here. Other than I've got stuff to build, and probably want food processing, hydroponic slabs, and then an automation building. Hydroponic slabs upkeep for automation buildings is per district, but you still see, as far as I understand, hydroponics lab jobs get automated. So that's the cost effectiveness and allow me to have enough farmers while having fewer farming districts. Allow me to retool either towards cities or generators or even mines. Yeah, I can never decide what I'm going to do. But let's get going because I've been talking for about 12 minutes. It's way too long. Yeah, do look up Jupiter missiles in Turkey. It's an interesting bit of history, and it shows the lies and the propaganda that people are fed about the Cold War. Oh, the missile crisis was unprovoked. Actually, it was a direct response to an unprovoked aggression on America's part. We were the baddies in the Cold War. I mean, the Soviets weren't the good guys. There were no good guys, but they were less bad than we were. The greater evil actually won the Cold War. What made the Soviets bad was that they were a one-party state, not that socialism, but the one-party state which led to political oppressiveness economically. Their economic system was far more just than America's. And everyone was not equal. That's not what socialism is. It was people were paid according to works. No one would run a business and pay you less than the value you produced, at least aside from what was essentially taxes came out of the state-owned enterprise budgets. Essentially, the Soviet Union had very high taxes, but they didn't actually have taxes proper. In fact, they had no taxes. They eliminated the income tax. Instead, they ran state-owned enterprises at essentially a profit, where the profits went to the state budget and were in lieu of taxes. So essentially, they had very high business taxes, no income taxes. That was economically inefficient. It led to not enough emphasis on automation. They should have kept income tax, had the state-owned enterprises run at a smaller margin, and invested more heavily in automation, which would have made immediate apparent sense to the managers of the state-owned enterprises if the incentive structures had been different. But nonetheless, their level of income equality was the second highest in the world, behind Sweden, actually, which was number one at the time in income equality. Politically repressive, but that was because it was a one-party state, because Lenin believed it was necessary to sustain a socialist revolution. Perhaps to sustain a revolution, but not to sustain a post-revolutionary state. That's where he fucked up. they should have introduced multiple competing parties. He failed to recognize the importance of competing parties, and that's partly because Lenin had no experience of democracy. Russia had never had democracy before the Soviet period. In fact, there was more political participation under the Soviet Union than there was under the Tsars, which was an absolute monarchy with serfdom, basically. It was slowly getting rid of serfdom, but it was behind the times very much. Serfdom had technically been outlawed, but it had been essentially went underground with things that were basically serfdom, but not called serfdom. For the farmers, the peasant population, which Lenin was also from the cities, so he actually ignored the plight of the farmers a great deal. So those were his two big oversights. An excessive focus on urban populations and not realizing the importance of political opposition parties. He made two enormous errors, but the neglecting farmers was forgivable and could have been overcome, especially because over time, the proportion of farmers in the Soviet Union decreased like any industrializing country. So that became less of an issue as time went on, whereas the lack of opposition parties became an increasingly large issue. A problem that just grows bigger with time is far worse than one that gets less problematic with time. All right. Yeah, socialism is still the answer. You'll so often hear me talk about capitalism, how terrible it is and stuff, and talk about things that may seem unrelated. But it's not coincidence and people turn their backs on capitalism. They realize things like war is not good. Because in the political culture of the United States, warfare and capitalism have been tied up, partly because of the defense industry. Pacifist capitalism is possible, but unlikely. Capitalism tends to lead to imperialism and thus to militarism. So, or, poorly funded welfare systems. Yeah, social democracies exist, but they tend to, over time, fail to withstand pressure to turn into more right-wing capitalist systems, and so welfare systems always suffer under capitalism. These things are related, even if they don't seem so at first. I wish people would just challenge me on it, but I'm sure most people ignore what I say instead. If you challenge me, I could prove that was correct, but when people just assume someone's wrong and don't listen, that's not how debates have. That's not how people learn and grow. Anyways, the shipyard's done with its work because I don't have the alloys to keep doing what I was doing with adding frame class corvettes. The upgrade fleet's almost done. I have to split the reserve fleet, I think. Next, I'm going to want a second reserve fleet. So probably, maybe it's the third upgrade fleet. Nah. Well, I might only take one reserve fleet in combat. Ultimately, I need some ships that just sit and don't drain the logistics or energy or alloys from being deployed. They're just exist for power projection and a back force so my fleet gets wiped to rebuild quicker. Okay. The criminal justice system being terribly fucked in the U.S. is also due to capitalism. Stuff like court-appointed attorneys being overworked and underpaid. Judges have been incentivized to give very harsh sentences, at least if they're not elected judges. Prosecutors making careers putting people away behind bars for unjust periods of time, and then going and running for political office. These things are all related to capitalism via various mechanisms. Social atomization, where community organizations die off and people become very isolated from each other. Even the decay of the nuclear family has something to do with capitalism, which fascists of all people pointed out, but socialists have pointed it out too, although many socialists actually did not lament the decay of the nuclear family, or the extended family, but somehow thought that was a good thing. I'd argue they were wrong. But many socialists developed the idea that women would never be free if traditional family structure is dominated. That's nonsense, and it's partly due to the anti-religious tone of socialism in the Soviet Union, whereas things like social Catholicism and Catholic socialism existed in the Baltic countries, but then they were first puppeted by the Nazis, the Axis, and then became Soviet puppets after World War II, so they never got to explore their own versions of socialism. And indeed, those ideologies may never become ruling ideologies, just minority ideologies giving different ideas. But the ideas existed, is my point, even if they may never have seen realization. All right. Nutritional plenitude. Doesn't cost much unity. It is a fundamental right of each of our citizens to enter hibernation with a full digestive organ. That's the idea of no one going to bed hungry. Easy access to plentiful, nutritional fare, not highly processed crap, will be the fuel that spurts our growth among the stars. Yeah, I'll probably want to run that very soon. Being a little bit cautious, but it's probably already worth doing this month. You know what? I'll do it now. I can see how this affects my food income before I see anything change too much. Alright. Still don't know if this commander would. Alright, I have an official level 2 one. I miss this. And he's from Synth Prime. I go a little over the cap. Leaders will level up a little slower. Jared Dickinson. This adds to official starting skill. I'm curious if that'll let him start at level 3. I might want to bring colonial viceroys before I recruit him. That'll also make sure I'm not actually over capacity. Which affects the experience gain of, say, my hair. Becomes less of an issue when I extend leader lifespan, because even if you go a little over the cap, because the leaders are still low enough to get the early levels. Later ones are not actually cost effective. To focus too much on getting, they take a lot of XP for their benefit. This is basically 9 months. 5 till the ancient survey marker. 3 years plus. Oh, this is out of order. 8 till the crash scout craft. Either which I think is say. I can wait a little bit, but yeah, I'll do society research spec soon-ish. Get the archives. Sorry, did I say society research? Get the archives underway in Anchor. Oh. This guy is acting as a placeholder before I do this. It doesn't hurt to delay it since my sci research goes up over time. Okay. So that science ship is fine, sitting idle for a little while. I'm in a race here. He's off for a second. I don't know what else to do, so. I'm considering reassigning all the. Do I want this guy? There's a ton of tightly clustered. This one will level up, right? As will this. Oh, I have to redo the Dontar. Dontar. Okay. Stuff. This isn't worth it quite yet. But this is. Clear that toxic kelp. It's getting in the way of population growth. I desperately need that. Someone's new. Oh no, this is undercurrent again. It sounds a little different every time almost.
We have detected an anomaly.
Ooh. Unusual readings suggest there may be more as desolate world than meets the eye. That's the tomb world thing. That's fine. I think this is what leads to the in limbo event chain. Or anomaly chain. It's a little for anomaly though. This guy, what was it from special projects? Might do this. This definitely affects the order I'm going to survey because I probably want to double back and do that. It's a very valuable thing. I think it's very cool. The Xenophile Fallen Empire in particular will love you for giving them the brain scans you get from it. Which can pay off, but also can later, I think it gives a specimen. I'm not sure if you copy the brain scans, but if you keep it, you can also get some robot pops. Which are interesting, but I don't know. It's a cool event chain. Interesting, if nothing else. Boom. I've got too many anomalies. I'm gonna have to. Zareem's got a few. But I think here I'm gonna want to double back in a sec. Desperately need to get some consumer goods. I think I just this arc soon buy a few. next month. Yeah, I get field modulation. I'm gonna hurry the heck up. Oop. Nice asteroids first, also benefits in case one of these is a Shitoid in disguise. And then I really need to do these bloody anomalies. Won't matter if I beat the 5 mind to them if I can't actually research them before they get them. First contact event. Shitoids. We discovered a spaceborne organism that shelters inside of asteroids. Known to us as Shitoids, these creatures are ambush predators. They are capable of lying in wait for several years. It's a long time to capture the prey, capable of engulfing entire ships. We should be very careful when approaching unsurveyed asteroid belts, as they are found to be extremely dangerous. The good news is that they appear to be quite rare, and their asexual reproductive processes can take hundreds of years. Ambush predators destroy them all. You can either gain damage against them and minerals for when destroyed, or stay them. I don't know what staying them does exactly. Give me a second. I need to check my phone anyways. Yep, okay. So give me the chance to lie down for a sec. Yeah, so studying almost always is better. And yeah, we should, if this is the case here, that you get some long-term benefits from studying the creatures. Although it's permanent empire modifiers, which won't be passed on. Sister Empire. But, it's not like they're going to be that many. This only works on wild Shitori. It's, yeah, I'll just study them.
An alien nation is hailing us.
Not really. No alien nation is hailing me. Asteroidal shell structure of the Shitoid is an impressive piece of biological engineering. There's more for us to learn from them. I can reinforce space fauna armor. That seems to be the best thing to do with that. To get a modifier. Space fauna apparently become very cost effective. For combat. Yeah, I see. I see nothing that would indicate bubbles grow further, but yeah, I'll get more space fauna eventually and breed them in captivity. Well, or use them in combat, I should say. Pretty sure I can do that as any empire. Not sure quite how. I think it might need a vivarium. I may have to breed them in captivity, and then I don't know. That's not exclusive to beast masters. Civic. Give me one more second. Might be that I can't use space faunas combat unless I was beast masters. Well, I could do the technology, since Empire modifiers aren't passed on anyways, but technology is to successor empires. So yeah, the Shutoid Carapace is like a technology I can grab, and if I get first contact events again, I can get the tech and the modifiers next empire. So yeah, that's probably what I'll do. Anyways, let's go. Almost done with these food processing facilities. Also almost done with this field modulation. Remap that. Yep. That's that. Into the unknown. Here. Find the Rubricator. That's right. I almost forgot I was doing that. I guess I better actually do the mineral extraction thing so I can get mineral processing facility on Hesuk. Since there always be some well, not always, but there'll probably be some mining on the capital for all in time. Have a single mining, or maybe just a single highly automated mining district. I don't know. Also reduces planetary deficits. Since I don't have any easy way to produce trade other than civilians right now. Or using a build slot to get traders. Yeah, probably not a terrible idea. What's that? Are the archives? Wait a second, the miners are short on Hesek as well? Huh. Just noticed that. There we go. I'd rather miners and farmers specifically because I'm gonna. Alright. No, I'm about to do this month. Too late. Could have fixed that earlier, but. Guess farmers. Miners, text, nations. That's the right order. A little tricky to do archives quite at the second, but. One more moment. Yeah, no, I need to do this next. Because I need mineral processing, or whatever. Or just I might need to automate stuff. I need basic resources is the point before I can think about research quite yet. And pop growth. It's interesting to note doing a Master Mining Bay doesn't cost any pop growth on Anchor versus an undeveloped district. It's actually less of a lost opportunity. Where's the city districts? I might do Master Mining Bay eventually. Just because I never seem to have enough minerals. Because of the trade situation. Just single highly automated mining bay and reactor district. Eventually. Alright. Let's get a different song going. Spatial Lullaby. It's a spatial lullaby. Oh, I have too many enforcers. Forgot to fix that. I knew I was gonna make mistakes. I often do. On COVID and just being tired. Why not risk experience science ship on asteroids? Boom. Alright. Things updated. Doing good for food. Very good for food, actually. Still food deficit on his synth. Probably will be. So I should probably turn this one of these agriculture districts to generators because I'm running a little on energy. I'll need it for automation. Mesuk. I'll come soon. Store up a bit of food before it. I'll need it for Genesis Arcs after all. So it's population growing.
Knowledge is the key to the universe.
And new cloning vats. Okay. Anyways, global energy management. Not useful in itself, but allows district specialization. And energy grids. Yes, please. Global energy management. So the last tech, field modulation. Modulated fields allow for increased production and improved energy yields. Global energy management. Solar energy generation. Solar grids and plasma converters gleam across the landscape, tapping stars and storms to power our ascent. That's for the energy generators. Global energy management. Load balancing facilities can greatly improve the stability of local grids and feed excess power back into centralized capacitors. An energy grid, carefully calibrated grid network maximizes the output of power generators and, well, this edict allows short-term overloading energy grids, letting power plants across our empire run at increased capacity. It's capacity subsidies. All cool stuff. Doubt I'll be running any kind of already have 2 over edict capacity. Anything for a while. I don't have to get rid of the mining subsidies soon. Here.
Construction completed.
Cool. Into the Zoro for quite a while. Physics research station, eh. Oh, I could just bypass this system entirely, couldn't I have? Whoops. Why'd I even bother with this? Whoopsie daisy. Restoration project might give some interesting stuff. I don't know, but probably shouldn't have built an outpost here. Do want one there for sure though. That was purely dumb. Purely. Toxic terraforming, yeah, that's about the only useful thing here. And useful is something of an overstatement. Sure someone knows that earlier. Like, why are you doing that? Yeah, oh well.
We have detected an anomaly.
Unusual fluctuations in space-time have been detected in the vicinity of this, I think, where there's a dark matter draw thing. I don't know. Whatever, I gotta surveil this, then get here and do this black hole. Survey and maybe I'll wait on the black hole, but there's definitely stuff to be done going this way. Finding anomalies. I don't know. Leave that for now. 1552 until next month. I'll probably proclaim religious revelation. Get the colonial viceroys early. Years took over. Again, stuff like colony age here. Archaeological site discovered kleptomaniac racks. This planet has played host to mammalian society of compulsive gatherers and hoarders. Their labyrinthine city is littered with junk, their towering ramshackle buildings pierced together from scraps of repurposed materials. As far as the eye can see are mounds of knickknacks, ornaments, and artifacts. The tiny rat-like inhabitants did not produce any goods of their own, were proficient spacefarers who likely pilfered the things they needed, as well as a whole lot of things they did not need from other alien cultures. Found that as soon as I entered the system. Cool. And the tale of Knights May and Daria, departure. Worry not, for I shall soon return, and if fate favors me, I shall bear with me fresh news of the deity. Tales tell of the knight May Kobayashi, like Kobayashi beef, maybe, who left the keep many years ago on a secretive mission, never to return. Such was her prowess that many refused to believe she had perished, even though her return was long overdue. Among them was her partner, knight Daria Tvardoishkaya. Long did she search for clues as to Maid Kobayashi's destination. Finally, she discovered a dusty parchment in a hidden compartment of their quarters. Though the parchment was faded and crumpled, 2 words had been circled numerous times. Ulvanis Cluster. The knight commander swiftly approved a quest to pursue this lead. May fortune favor thee, Daria. Indeed. I think this is a second quest. You can add uni or research again. I'll go heavy on uni because it becomes harder to do uni as my empire size increases. To get traditions, get them all in small. And allows me to just focus everything on research elsewhere. Let's see. I have another science ship coming through the sector, probably. It's going to go here and then there. Race to survey first. There's anything else in the system. Let me just set this up off camera. There we go. Let's have this science ship survey in line, then rush off this way. Trying to grab anomalies while I can before other empires get them. Boom, boom. So do this, and then, yeah. I might want to do the black hole, but it might be dangerous. I'll probably do the black hole. Meanwhile, at the coordinates of the Rubricator's last known location, we have discovered a habitable planet with what we believe may be some form of settlement covering a large portion of its surface. The settlement consists of tall, pile-like towers visible all the way from space. Archaeologists are eager to excavate in search of the Rubricator. Cool. Also, I know a name for this video, quite possibly. Towering Junk. Right? Rubricator planet. It's a bunch of junk. Uh, mm, cool. Really gonna have problems with my trade situation, trade value. Yeah, I'll do master mining or reactor district may actually be more important. Energy shortfall and anchor. Master mining capital a little later. Energy resale pops too eventually. Uh, Alright, Tarblock secured. Capturing all this stuff. Definitely need to get archives on anchor soon. There's a lot of value for them. First, I gotta get the mineral extraction HESOC at least. Do I? Yeah. So, I need consumer goods. I can't archives for my situation with those. I don't have much time on the Eldorians. About 11 months. This. Yeah, alright. I need the stupid archives as soon as I have the minerals, actually. And to expedite that. Food for minerals, maybe. Yeah, this definitely be profitable. my surplus food versus minerals. The kind of production ratios I have each. Definitely worthwhile. Use it to get the archives done soon.
System survey concluded.
No, my discover chance there. Boom. Oh, wait. This should be the head of research. Fine if I do that. There, and this is a more dangerous thing. Boom. Yeah. They approved the trade deal. Cool. Next month, I can start in the archives at Anchor. Just in the nick of time to start cataloging like the Eldorians and stuff. Lorens. Oh. Shoot. Let's proclaim this religious revelation. Must miss that. That day actually did miss it by a month. Whoops. And huh. Let's see what this guy has. Population shall learn to obey. Right. Trade from jobs. That could eventually be useful in a synth if I run civilians or something. Not currently useful. And that. Don't want to get rid of this official. Charismatic speeches of a persuasive official. My curiosity. Yeah, it's not officials, it's envoys I sent to improve relations. sec. Yeah, it's going to be a very long time till that leader would do anything useful. I'm just going to dismiss him. He's not a useful ethos in terms of increasing diversity of them. Didn't get a useful second trait. Governing home planet just gives him minis, which is meh. So unless it wanted to send to a federation, increase cohesion, and even then I'd probably get someone better. I'm just gonna dismiss rather than pay the upkeep. Jared Dickinson, Sinar. Maybe someone better will show up later. Um, How do I have these letters the way as well? Because to get the sector governor effects, fire and architectural interests in both places. Still want construction, Hesek Prime. Alright. Let's go then. Task completed. Huh? Oh, hire an official. Gotta also have 7k pops. Planetary unification is now a guaranteed research option. Adaptive bureaucracy would probably be more useful. Promote a faction. I'm already... Just unpromote and repromote the spiritualist. That'll make sure I get that. Also reorder stuff. Having these things next to each other. Fire focuses or... Yeah, where was it? Some discoveries, was it? Oh, situation log. Establish a positive relationship. Probably won't do that with the high mind, but the other empire. Enact a planetary decision. Probably eventually be doing a Genesis Preserve and Anchor. Can't think of many other things I would want. Consecrate World is technically a planetary decision. Oh, that's right. Eventually. Running down towards Privy Council. Edict fund is actually even better than defenses frugal. I have a lot of uni going into edicts, which it's going to be. Have energy credits. Yeah, won't happen for a bit. Better tomorrow. Some federations. List. Really hard to get this guy level 4. After I do this, or probably was another one. Yeah. Boom. Let's start on the archives. Ancient survey marker. Since this was about to expire. A small short-range transmitter has been located on the surface of Tamana 6A. It appears to be an ancient survey marker placed here eons ago to mark a large deposit of precious metals. Miners it was meant for evidently never arrived as the deposit is still here. Yep, minerals on a world. Be a while till I can bring my border and a specimen. That's perhaps the more interesting thing. A short-range transmitter found on, should say the world instead of the science ship, used to mark a large deposit of precious metals. Despite its age, this transmitter signal can be picked up on a wide variety of sensors and is easily traceable. Its continuing functionality is a testament to its robust engineering. Ooh, minerals from jobs. Scalable. That's nice. That thing I'll hold on to. For sure. Rate I'm going. It won't be long until I finish the xenobiology thing, collecting all these specimens. It's not necessarily a rush there. Ooh, we made first contact with mysterious aliens in the Mintaka system. For now, we have codenamed them Omega aliens to find more about them. If they possess language, we must decipher it in order to establish communications. Sir, I'll stick an envoy in this right away. Shroud Tunnel. Oh, it's the Shroud Walkers Enclave. Yeah, they'll get my language very quickly. Probably before I can do theirs, though maybe not. It's a little faster. Go back and do that anomaly quick. Also do the storms. No, not useful, but then there's all this. This is fun. This guy's quicker. The research than Hedger Scott. That's it. Yeah. I might not be the one to get the system anyhow. Alright. Archives are underway. Acquiring toxic kelp. Improving mining on the homeworld. Just don't have enough farmers for food processing to be worthwhile. Wait yet. There's no decisions I'd want. Can't clear the dangerous wildlife. Balker and guess I could add a city district next to add to pop growth. That's probably the next thing to synth. Let's see how willing the custodians are. How much minerals they have. Not a terrible amount. So, let's get realized mineral. It's not. No, the pricing can fluctuate slightly. Nah. Get concept food. Okay, that doesn't fall in there. That's crowy, sloppy programming. Yeah, high minds like food. For kind of semi-obvious reasons. They use a lot of it. Guess they have access to minerals or something. Here, 16 to 40. 4 into 138. Some more multipliers, but with the higher base. But yeah, it's profitable what I'm doing. Slightly. I have to drive a hard bargain for it to really be worthwhile at all. Help with building a city district. Synth. Since I'll just add some housing for now. I don't have the pops to work even extra artisan jobs right now. I do basic resource stuff for a little bit. Fine for naval coverage. Boy, this doesn't turn into Deshatoid. If it doesn't, I can start on those aerostat structures very soon. We'll put the scientist Ernst Klein on it. I'm doing for time, just about reaching the longest I want to do a video. I'm screwing up. What do I don't want to overemphasize mining so much here, even though it's a mining world. Farming can be traded. Food can be traded for minerals. Draw. Cool. Let the month take over because I don't want this to happen. I'll update production of stuff. Yeah, with that many farmers, actually, I guess I could do food processing facilities. Could. Trade with this forever. Yeah, over a city that will add to the energy deficit and make trade situation worse. Boom. Reconsider that. I want. I'll think on it. Well, hope you folks enjoyed this video. Save here. Cut the video. Wish you all the best. Take care of each other. Be kind to yourselves. May you always find a guiding star and lead you home. Until next time, it's Northstar. I do. Best luck.